Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another fun makeup tutorial, and that is based on Vanessa Van Edwards' Captivate makeup look. She looks amazing, she's amazing, her book is amazing, we're doing this amazing makeup, so stay tuned. Let's get started. As always, I've just done my skincare, so I'm super glowy, and the essential oils that are in my moisturizer are sinking in. So I'm going to start by prepping my eyes with something new. This is Soft Ochre, the Pro Longwear Paint Pot by MAC. And why am I using this instead of my NARS? Because my NARS ran out, and I cannot find it anywhere. It has become so popular that it's just out of stock everywhere. If you are lucky enough to be able to get the tinted version in a good shade for you, grab it because it is amazing. The Soft Ochre has a little bit more of a yellow tint to it, whereas Painterly has more of a pink tint. So depending on your undertone, if you are fairer, then that's kind of how you decide which paint pot to go with. I've been trying it out for a few days. It's been working pretty well, especially since it's formulated for MAC shadows, which is what I use. So no complaints so far. And I do like that it has a tint. Now I'm just going in with my Bobbi Brown Corrector in Bisque, as usual, and just kind of wiping out any purple or blue underneath my eye and in that inner corner. Now, the look that we're doing today is a really pretty, just kind of basic beauty look. So nothing super fancy, something that you can absolutely wear on an everyday basis and you'll look pulled together. Oops. And it's something that will really enhance your features. So I'm going in with a Charlotte Tilbury pencil. My son is in that eating stage, and he's kind of destroyed a couple of my pencils. So this is in a blue, which, like, let's just kind of talk about that for a moment, because if you use a blue liner, the whites of your eyes are going to pop, and if you have brown eyes, it's going to look even more amazing. Blue and green and hazel will also pop a little bit more, but the whites of your eyes will look a little bit brighter. So that's what I'm using. And now that everything is kind of prepped, let's continue with the skin, because again, her eye look is nothing major, nothing dramatic. So we're going in with our concealer. And then I'm going to use a super fluffy brush from Sephora Collection. And I'm going to pat it in and then just kind of brush away the edges and pat away the edges, because I really want to make sure that most of the pigment and most of the product stays exactly where I put it. But I also want to make sure it's nice and blended. And then I'm just going to take my finger and tap and grab any excess that's there. We can always go back in and layer on a little bit more if we need to. Now I'm going to pump foundation on the back of my hand, do a few dots on my cheek where I have the most high color or discoloration or just a different color. Sometimes I don't like saying the word discoloration, like there's something wrong with my skin. There isn't. It's just, it's very normal to have slightly redder cheeks. And doing the same thing on the other side. If you were to go in with something like the Bobbi Brown Full Coverage brush, it's going to give you more coverage. It's a denser brush. This one from Sephora Collection is much fluffier, so it's going to give you more of that skin-like airbrushed finish. Although airbrushing I don't think I've ever seen it look very skin-like, honestly, unless it's being done by a movie makeup artist. But it usually looks more like a full coverage. So keep that in mind, all my brides out there. Airbrushing is not supernatural, if that's what you're going for. It looks great in photos if you do it correctly, but I always prefer regular foundation because you can manipulate it and play with it after it's on the skin, and it will still last all day compared to airbrushing. Once it's on, and you can't really do anything about it. All right, I'm gonna take that off the back of my hand with a little baby wipe that I just happen to have around. And I'm going to start setting that a little bit with my pale yellow powder. I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty Precision powder brush. I basically just wipe the powder and then I flick off any excess, because I know that all the oils and serums and everything, they're going to start peeking through again. And I also know that my concealer can handle going on top of powder if I need it to. So Vanessa Van Edwards makeup, I mean, she looks like she's wearing makeup, but it's not over the top crazy. So first I'm going to fill in my brows with my usual matte colors, and then here are the skin tone colors that we're going to be using today. So again, nothing really crazy. I'm going to use my angled brush from Sigma. I'm just going to make sure it's nice and clean. I've definitely gone in with my angled brush with my eyeliner before, and that is quite a strong brow. And I don't know if you can tell, but I did get my hair colored the other day, and it's a little bit later, and I do not want to go in with chocolate brown in my brows. Shout out to Ashley and Hannah if you're watching. Thank you so much for a wonderful hair experience yesterday. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so Sandstone and Brun are still my go-tos. And you know, with this lighter hair, I do kind of like a stronger brow so that my features aren't fading back. I want to make sure that everything is popping and that you can see my expressions. Okay, let's move on to the eyes. So I'm going to take my 201 BK Beauty brush, and I'm just going to lay down a little bit of my contour sculpting powder. If I'm doing a really just nice beauty look, this is how I always like to start it. Sweeping it on the lid and then grabbing a little bit more and putting it in the crease. Because sometimes I'll find that this is really the only crease color that I need if I'm doing something softer. We're gonna go in with a couple more colors just to define, because I mean, she was being photographed for her book cover, so she definitely has a little bit more detail in her makeup, but these are kind of like the building blocks of a basic beauty everyday look. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a 217, and let's start with a little bit of Kid, and I'm also going to mix in a little bit of Wedge. They're super similar. One is a little bit more pinky purple, one is a little bit more brown. So just focusing those kind of on that outer V. She has beautiful almond eyes, so they definitely play that up. So we're gonna really focus on that outer corner. And her darker shadow, it doesn't look super dark. And I don't have anything extra on my brush right now. I'm just kind of softening that edge because I do have quite a bit of space between my crease and my brow. So I can bring that up. Otherwise, when my face relaxes, it's going to completely disappear if I'm really focusing in on the crease. That's just my face shape. So now I'm going to go in with, still with the 217 with Royal Rendezvous, which is kind of like mixing Kid and Wedge together and then adding a little bit of darkness. That sounded very dramatic. A little bit of darkness. A little bit darker. And you can see we're just really softly defining. And again, I know I've said this a lot in videos, but it's really important that you don't have surprise face when you're doing your eyeshadow. Otherwise, again, everything's going to get stuck in the crease. So take a breath and get your eyeshadow on that bone when your eyes are relaxed, and you'll just be so much happier. Because there have definitely been days when I've had surprise face and then I'm like, where did my eyeshadow go? Going back in with the 201, and I'm just going to soften that. I don't have anything on my brush. You could also go in with a clean brush. Okay. So she does have some shimmer on her lid. You could go in with something like the Armani, I can't remember what this is called. It's like Cool Copper or something like that. Or you could go in with something like Shroom from MAC. I think we're gonna go with the Armani because it's slightly less white, and her eyeshadow, her shimmer shadow doesn't really look that white, although it does look like she has a different shimmer in her inner corner. So I'm just painting that on, and then I'm going to use my fingers to just kind of soften the edge between the liquid shadow and the powder shadow. And I just put that on my lid. I did not bring it up into the crease. Okay, so pretty. Going back in with my 217, I'm going to take a little bit more of Royal Rendezvous, and I'm just, again, just kind of cleaning up. It is totally okay to go in with the same shade multiple times and build up that color. This eye look, by the way, would be great for green and hazel eyes, especially because of those purple undertones. But I love these colors, these eyeshadow colors, because it's not so purple that if you have any purple underneath the eyes, it's going to make you look at the purple in the under eyes. It's definitely a muted purple, which is so great for someone like me who wakes up sometimes and is like, girlfriend didn't sleep so well last night. Okay, let's go in with our liner, with our gel liner, and we can always take it down with some powder if we need to, because her liner, I can see it, but it's really soft. It's defined but soft. And I have a new technique for anyone who's using the Bobbi Brown gel liner and is getting those ear gaps. And I used to just work my way on the outside. Now I'm literally doing circles with my brush, and I feel like I'm just getting a better result. Your brush does get quite a lot of product on it, so just be aware of that. Following my lower lash line to create that little flick. And then connecting that in. And just doing little dashes right along the lash line. I don't believe Vanessa Van Edwards is wearing lashes. If she is, they are super, super subtle. And the key with liner is to make sure that it's right up against your lashes. You do not want any gaps, because the closer people get to you, the more likely they are to see those gaps, and it will just drive them crazy. Or maybe that's just me, I'm not sure. But you essentially are kind of faking a fuller lash line, so you don't want any gaps. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Whoops. So in the morning, I don't know if anyone else has this thing, but when I do my eyeshadow really early in the morning, my eyes water. So that's why that is happening. And doing the same thing, just little dashes, following that lower lash line to get the angle. We can always clean it up if we need to. That's the great thing about makeup, is you can manipulate it almost like the entire time you're doing your look. There are very few moments that you cannot fix with some kind of other makeup product or skincare product. It is very easy to move around until you really, really set it with powder. And I mean like a lot of powder. Okay, now we've got everything going on our eyes. We're going to do our mascara, and then we'll do a little bit on the lower lash line. And I think we will add a little shroom in the inner corner too, just to kind of amp that up. Going in with my Dior 3D Maximizer. Still my primer of choice. Pretty sure I'm going to need a new one soon. That is kind of a satisfying sound, isn't it? When the tube comes out. You hear that suction? It's the little things. Just really wiggling that and trying to coat the lashes as much as possible, because we want the lashes to be visible, but we don't want them to be spidery. No spidery lashes. Going in with Smokey Eye Mascara. Doing a little bit on the lower lash line. I feel like the key to this look is keeping the eyes simple and then doing a really pretty rosy lip. If you want quick impact, then the lips are going to be the thing that you want to focus on. The eyes are awesome, and I love doing eye looks, but nothing quite compares to a little color on the lips, whether it's a red lip or a rosy lip. Basically something that is slightly darker than your natural lip color or quite a bit darker is going to give you the most impact, the quickest impact. Okay, lower lash line. I think we'll do pencil brush with a little bit of Royal Rendezvous and a little bit of Wedge. Because her lower lash line is defined. It's not, it's that soft definition. And if anyone's getting their picture taken for family photos, this really does make a big difference, kind of doing that soft definition. So I put a little bit of Kid on my 217, and I'm just really softly going back and forth and creating a little bit of definition underneath my lower lash line. Okay, before we go in with the rest of the look, we are going to do, we're going to do some shroom, I forgot. So let's go in with our Smudger brush 207 with BK Beauty. Let's get that little bit of shine and bring it just a little bit on that lower waterline. If you want more impact from shroom, then just add something like MAC Fix Plus, and that will give you a little bit more. That is really pretty on the inner corner. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the skin. So I'm gonna grab my bronzer brush. She looks, you know, her skin just looks healthy. It doesn't look overly like Kardashian or anything like that. It just looks really pretty. So we're gonna do our contour bronze. So under the cheekbone and around the hairline, but not going too crazy. Not like when we did Audrey Hepburn and we really needed to define those cheekbones. Yeah, this is such a pretty look. Whoever did her makeup did a good job. And it's important to bring a little bit of makeup down on your cheek, or on your neck too, especially for photos, just so that everything remains intact. Stays looking cohesive. Okay. Sometimes you get a little patch on your skin that just like won't accept the makeup, and you just keep working on it until it does. All right. Taking a step back, I'm going to go in with a new blush. This is Gentle from MAC, and I'm going to use a fluffy brush. Yesterday I used my regular blush brush, and it was quite intense. So I'm going to tap off even a little bit on the back of my wrist. There we go. It's such a pretty blush, but it is packed with pigment. So be very careful, but you can always go back in with your foundation brush and just blend everything in. I can definitely see her blush, so that's why we wanted to add a little bit. Now, her skin does look quite glowy, not in a sweaty way, in a professional glowy way. So we're going in with Lisa Eldridge's Elevated Highlighter. Love it. I'm like halfway through. I don't think I've ever used highlighter this much like I've used Lisa's. It is my favorite. I love you, Lisa, and thank you so much for commenting on my photos on Instagram. I love you so much. Okay, now we're going to do the lip, and then we'll see if we need any extra powder. We're going to go in with another Lisa product, actually a couple Lisa products. We're going to do Rose Official Luxuriously Lucent Lipstick, and then we're going to go in with Beauty, the lip gloss. The Rose Official has actually become my fall go-to. It's just working with a lot of the colors I've been wearing lately. Okay, we're gonna zhuzh the hair. I can tell that I would like, just personally, a little bit more concealer. So we're gonna go in with an extra dose of our concealer, just keeping it close, and we'll use our full coverage brush like I did a couple times ago. This really just pushes the product into the skin. So if you need extra coverage, something really, really dense is going to be your go-to. Plus, I don't want to disturb the other makeup. It's kind of like putting a ton of fingers and just really gently pushing that down. And then we're going to go back in with our powder because we are being photographed for our amazing book cover. And we're going to use Precision Powder Brush because I want to make sure that it's only going in specific areas, and I can see some of my skincare has crept through, so we want to take away that shine for our photos. And that is the look. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I love the book. I love Vanessa Van Edwards, and I love the makeup that she did on her cover of Captivate. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This would be great for every day, or if you are getting your photo taken. And I do beauty videos every Friday. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, and lots of blogs in between. So hit that thumbs up and subscribe button, and I will see you very soon. Bye!